Welcome everyone to the August Franklin Grandisle Community Partnership meeting. Once again, as always, want to thank everybody for your time this morning. I know that everybody's busy, your time is valuable, and we really appreciate you coming together each month. And the other thing we really appreciate is the fact that years ago we never met during July and August because of the fact that it's, you know, heavy vacation months, and we didn't think anybody would want to get together. And here today we have, I think, 20 or so, which is a real good representation for the month of August. So, wow, with all that being said, we will begin. And are you going to be able to do this on the screen first?
Yeah, just tell a bad dad joke, and by the time you're done.
Well, any joke I would tell would be bad. Bad news, Melinda. So, yeah, what we're going to do, as usual, is we're going to start with introductions. And as always, your name, organization, a title, organization, and something that you're grateful for. You'll have 40 seconds to do that. If you go over the 40 seconds, you get the magic bell. And any first-time participants will also receive the bell in goodwill. So, with all that being said, are you ready?
Just about.
Oh, just about.
Yeah,
okay.
just let them know my computer decided to restart, and we're about 1.5 minutes away from me being back on.
1.5 minutes. Okay, so that would be like 2.5 people talking, right, or whatever.
Yeah. So actually, let's do this.
Hey, Melinda.
Yeah.
I made a belt out of a bunch of watches. It was a waste of time.
Oh man, now that does qualify.
Oh God, please.
Wow. We hope everybody heard that incredibly in-depth joke that Eric told.
We're good. Okay. So I will call on people as I'm going to start with people on Zoom. So the first name I'll call on, if it will. Okay, so the first name I have is Kate.
Hi, my name is Kate Greenwood. I work with AgriHealth. We have offices in St. Albans, Burlington, and across the country. Sorry, this is my first time, so I'm not really sure where to go or what to say.
Wonderful. Kate, can you do me a favor and repeat your full name one more time? We're getting the audio loud enough on this end, and I want to get your last name right.
Yeah, Kate Greenwood with AgriHealth.
Beautiful.
So Kate, this is your first meeting. So with that, welcome.
Well done. And then if you want to say one thing that you're grateful for today.
I'm excited to be here and join this meeting and get to meet some people and hopefully keep growing our recovery system.
Wonderful.
Oh, did she freeze or did we freeze?
Perfect. Thank you, Kate. Next person is Kylie. Kylie Grennan.
She's muted. She's muted,
Yeah, you're muted. Just in case you're talking, Kylie, you are muted. Okay, I'm going to move on and come back in case you're having the similar issues as we are on this end. Amanda.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I am a community health worker at the St. Albans Notch. Are we just doing introductions, or was I supposed to also like tell my favorite candy or something?
So yeah, we're doing introductions and then something you're grateful for.
Or a bad joke.
I am grateful for fall coming in. It was a little chilly in the morning, but I'm thankful that we're getting to that fall season.
All right, thank you, Amanda. Next person, Becky.
Hi, I'm Becky Geiser. I'm from Champlain Valley Head Start. I am the home visiting supervisor here, so I oversee staff that work in families' homes every week. I'm definitely grateful for the sunshine because my tomatoes need to be ripened.
Great. And had Robert Giles was next, and it looks like he's having issues with his microphone, so I'll introduce him. Robert Giles is with the Samaritan House. He's a housing advocate, and he is grateful for having life today. Love it. Thank you, Robert. Next person is Michelle.
Good morning, I'm Michelle Trea from the Parent Child Center of Northwestern Counseling and Support Services. And I'm just grateful to be here, and I'm very excited about the presentation we're going to have today, and grateful for people like Reva and Gina and Matthew and others who are working hard to move this project forward.
Wonderful, thank you. Karen.
Good morning, I'm Karen Garand, the local Office of Health. I'm a public health nurse, and I'm grateful for the community and all the great people I get to work with.
Thank you. And our other Karen.
Hi, Karen Heinlein Grenier, the Director of the Turning Point of Franklin County, and I am grateful for the cooler temperatures this morning.
Thank you. Deb.
Sorry, I lost one of my microphones out of my ear. I'm Deb Quilliam. I'm a supervisor for the care and service on the team for AgeWell out of Grand Isle and Franklin counties. And I'm grateful for any day that it doesn't rain. Summer is something I really look forward to, and they're so short, and it's been discouraging. So I'm happy whenever we have sunshine. I'm grateful for that.
Thank you, Deb. And Megan.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Megan Bridges, United Way of Northwest Vermont, Community Impact Manager here, and one of my roles is to support our team of wonderful volunteers that help build relationship with the organizations we fund, and I am so grateful to my partners in St. Albans who will be welcoming us into their places tomorrow for very brief tours. So we're going to have a little tour of St. Albans, and Robert will probably see you tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, today's Wednesday. Tomorrow afternoon, having Brother Bob's welcoming us at Martha's Kitchen, and visiting a few others. So I'm just grateful for them always willing to chat with us and help our volunteers learn about the great work they're all doing.
Great, thank you, Megan. Jess?
Did you say Jess?
I did. Jess Grab, yeah.
Sorry. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jess Graff with Franklin Grand Isle Community Action Program of CDOEO, Champlain Valley Office of Economic Opportunity. And this morning, you know what, this morning I'm grateful for Robert, who hopefully can hear me because he left his desk. Robert has been part of and Stephanie, I think Stephanie's in the room there. Stephanie Comstock, is she there? No, okay. Who I'm grateful to our team of community partners who in the last couple of months have pulled together an encampment outreach team and have been going off once a week into encampments, meeting people where they're at, assessing for need. And we're so grateful for the United Way for funding that's been able to supply camping equipment to them, and also so many great partners at VDH and our faith-based community partnership that's provided other supplies as well. But our community has needed that for a long time, that proactive outreach in the woods group, and it's just it's one of the things over the last couple of months that's made me the most grateful that we have that resource and service that's being provided.
Awesome, thank you, Jess. Nicole.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Nicole Clemens. I'm a Working Bridges Resource Coordinator for the United Way of Northwest Vermont. I work with NCSS up in St. Albans. We have quite a few accounts up in that area and serve a lot of the employees. And I, like so many others, am just grateful for a beautiful day out there. I can't wait to get out.
Great, and I believe I got everybody on Zoom. I'm just gonna take a second. Is there anybody that I missed? Oh, I see Crystal logging in. I'm gonna give her a second to get on. Okay, Crystal, you came just in time. We were doing introduction, something you're grateful for, and you are the last person we have on the screen. So if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, I'm Crystal Laitman. I'm the Executive Director of Franklin County Caring Communities. And this month, I'm grateful for our communities that have wonderful summer programming for kids.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, I think I'm gonna move to people in the room now, and I will start with Brad.
Good morning, I'm Brad Perlman. I'm co-chair with Melinda on the Substance Use Addiction Summit that's coming up on August 11th. And I'm grateful. Last night and every month I climb Mount Elmore for the full moon rise. And we got up there last night around 8 and it was cold and no moon and no moon and no moon. And then about 9:10 this just amazing glow came up over the horizon, and I was grateful that I made it down this morning because Melinda was going to kill me if I didn't, so I made it down last night. It was really nice though.
Thanks, Brad. Yeah, I told him if you didn't make it today to show me a picture of him with today's newspaper, so I know he's okay. Thanks, Brad. Faith.
Hi, my name is Faith Dubois. I'm a community health worker with the Abenaki Nation of the Missisquoi, and today I'm very grateful for the Medical Reserve Corps and the volunteers who have started coming to the office once a month to do free health checks for folks.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gina Lewis. I'm here today as the chairperson of the Elberg Family Clubhouse, a nonprofit that's trying to build a child care center in Elberg. I'm also the director of the Elberg Library, which is the fun part of my life. Child care some days, not so much, but the library is the fun part. And I'm grateful to live here in Vermont, in this area, and be part of a small town.
Hi, I'm Reva Murphy. I am an early care and learning consultant, a part of a child early care and learning consultation, and I've been working with Allberg for
6 years?
No, three or four.
Oh,
You guys started without me, but for 3 or 4 years on this project, which they will be building and opening a child care center in St. Albans, and I work in a couple of other in Allberg. I work at some other communities in Vermont doing the same thing, trying to build the quality and capacity of child care. So and grateful. I had a new granddaughter. First one in 15 years. I have one who's 15, and her sister was born 3 weeks ago. So that was very exciting for us and quite a blessing. So I'm very grateful for that.
My name is Jackie DiBartolomeo. I'm a reporter with the St. Albans Messenger. Something I'm grateful for, I guess just the chance to come out and cover this. I really enjoyed it last month, so glad that I get to do it again.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
So the empty chair is Eric Peterson, who is Vermont Adult Learning, and he had to step out. He had some issue that he had to deal with. He should be back in a few minutes. He said 10 or 15 minutes. He will be back in, but he had to step out.
And do you want to do your
And
introduction?
now it's me. So I tried to push this off, you know. John Gordon, Sheldon Methodist Church Food Shelf. And I am thankful for, on Friday, my wife and I and 2 of our sons and 6 of our granddaughters went over to Jefferson, New Hampshire to Santa's Village and enjoyed. It was a long day. We left at 7:30 and got back at 9:30 that night. The kids were to bed pretty easily, but we had a great time, and I missed the opportunity for a once-in-a-lifetime picture because I went down the log. If you've been over there, they have this log flume where you float around and it takes you up to about 30 feet up in the air, drops you down, and they take a picture as you're going down the log flume, and the picture of me those of you who enjoy my wonderful haircut normally, the picture of me as I went down the log flume, it's like every hair on my head went right straight up. It was just like I'd been hit with electric shock, and it was just like a one-of-a-lifetime picture that would have been beautiful to share with everybody, but didn't get it.
See, now that could have been your Zoom photo.
That's right. That's right.
You know,
It's my Zoom photo
That would have
background.
been amazing, John. What John's not saying is, you know, Eric said, I just can't take being next to John. I gotta go. So, no, Eric will be back. My name's Joe Halco. I'm Director of Community Relations here at Northwestern Counseling and Sports Services. And there's so many things I'm grateful for. Very quickly, I want to piggyback on Jess Graff talking about the United Way and their support for organizations through this area. And to Megan, you know, 2 thumbs up. Thank you very much to the United Way. I think a lot of times people locally aren't quite aware of how many organizations are being impacted by the work that United Way does each and every day. Now, the other thing that I'm really grateful for is back in December, 1 week before Christmas, our 12-year-old dog, unexpectedly, we had to put down. She was very active as a 12-year-old. The vet used to say the most active and bouncy 12-year-old she had ever seen. And in 1 month, she deteriorated. My wife was devastated. She, by the way, she was a Christmas dog 12 years earlier, present to my wife, which she had always wanted, a Christmas dog. So anyway, so we go through that. It's been 8 months, and I am so excited because we, later this month, are going to pick up a new puppy, a collie this time, in Maine. And anyway, so an 8-month period without a pet. My wife's been climbing the walls. It means so much. Well, to me too. We've always had a pet. So I'm grateful for the fact we've been able to figure all that out and it worked out. So with all that, Alan, would you like to introduce yourself, even though people can't see you?
Sure.
No,
I'm more comfortable behind the camera. I'm Alan Cunningham from Northwest Access Television, and I am grateful for the cooler weather.
Now I'm going to do these gratefuls outside the 40 seconds so I don't have to hit the
I know,
bell.
I feel sidelined.
Oh, Melinda, my God. Well, here's some Andy's chocolate.
Was I not obnoxious enough for you to remember I was in the room?
This has been a bizarre morning. I am so sorry. Oh my God. Okay, go, please take the
Okay, my name is Melinda White with the Howard Center, recovery coach in the emergency department through the Turning Point, and also co-founder of the Summit. I'm grateful for Joe because there's never a dull moment, and I smile a lot when we're in the same room. I'm grateful also last night was National Night Out, and I was hoping to make it to the Swanton and St. Albans and didn't quite make it that far because I saw something shiny in St. Albans and I never left St. Albans, but there were just a number of fantastic community partners that were there. There was a great turnout from the community. I'm super grateful for the St. Albans Police Department too. That's another title. I'm on the Police Advisory Board, and they've just done some wonderful work connecting with the community. Their officers were out mingling and with the kids, and there was just such a great event. So I'm grateful for our community, grateful for events like National Night Out, and extremely grateful for the upcoming Substance Use Addiction Summit that's happening on Friday, August 11th at the Champlain Valley Expo. Summit is from 10 to 11:30, and then the booth and breakout rooms open from noon to the rest of the day. It's open to the public, no charge for attendance, no registration needed, no charge for holding a booth. If your organization has not registered a free booth yet, please do so ASAP because they're filling up and we're getting ready to start assigning locations. So I'm just grateful for the state that we're in and events like the summit that are going to be coming up.
Wow, you did all that in one breath. Wow, it's like, wow.
I didn't even
That's like all those exceptions, you know, the commercial, you know, they have a commercial and they say all the, you know, all the restrictions.
all the
restrictions,
yeah.
miles an hour,
Yeah.
miles an hour, all the reasons you don't want to buy this.
Yeah, right,
Trying
right.
to get you to buy.
Thank you, Melinda.
Thank you, Joe. It's a pleasure.
I did want to say, on a separate note of gratitude though, from a media standpoint, very thankful for Northwest Access TV, who has always been willing to record these meetings and put them on public access so that a lot of residents throughout the community can see the types of things that are going on in their community, who obviously can't be here in the room. And secondly, to Jackie for being here from the St. Albans Messenger And over the years, the St. Albans Messenger has been such a terrific community partner that a lot of the stories that have gone into the paper have kind of emanated out of this room and some of the conversations and presentations that have taken place over time. So again, we are very grateful for that as well. And a lot of communities cannot say that about their local newspaper by any means. So, with all that, let me make sure we continue to go down the agenda today, because boy, today's been kind of wild. So next, what I'd like to do is minute approval of the July 5th meeting, which you all received in your packets, and also those that are here have a hard copy in front of them. So what I would like is someone to move to approve those minutes in a second.
Can I say Eric moves to approve?
No, you cannot.
I move to approve them.
Okay, John, do we have a second?
Crystal, I'll second.
Crystal, okay. Any further discussion? Okay, with that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And the ayes have it. And
Okay, and this meeting will be recorded from here on.
yes, thanks, Melinda. Okay, now, this month's presentation, as you saw in your packet, has to do with the Alberg Family Clubhouse ECE Center project, including workforce challenges. So the discussion today will be centered around those two main themes. And we're very glad to have with us this morning Reva Murphy and Gina Lewis, who will be presenting, and they will have PowerPoint slides as part of their presentation this morning. So with that, we turn the floor over to the two of you.
Okay. Well, do you put that up? Is that
Yeah.
ours? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
It's down on the bottom now, I've got it. All right, I'll take it.
There we go.
Okay, we're gonna wanna share that.
You wouldn't want to do a screen share, can you see? Oh, there you go. Well, but we want this new.
Yeah, I see. So let's back out.
People on Zoom, we're just trying to get the PowerPoint pulled up. Give us 1 second. There you go.
Yeah, let's see that. Now we go back to, oh, sorry. Now if you want to move that.
I think you might have to enable edit. Oh, there it is.
Okay, and
Are they
then
still
we'll be
back?
able to advance. Yeah.
Can our people,
Look at
can the
that.
people?
Okay, so you want to advance the
Yeah.
slides as you go?
Wanna go?
You just
Sure,
have to-
sure.
Want to be in
Okay.
charge?
So there you go.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we began back in 2016, which was quite a while ago, it feels like, with a Promise Community grant. It was a Make Way for Kids kindergarten readiness grant that the town of Elberg received. And we had a board, on the board member, we had like the school principal, other community members, and United Way, which was a huge part to start out with, because United Way was able to start putting us in the right area. So to back it up, with the Promise Community Grant, we had to go back to the community and see what the needs are for our community, and childcare was just glaring. I think we have one home registered childcare, and that's it. That's all we have for childcare. And we do have a school with 200 students, so it makes you wonder where everybody's going. So after some work, we decided, maybe we should build our own childcare. And well, that's snowballed into all this. We became a 501c3 in 2018. We hired Reba, which was a big, Let's Grow Kids has been huge. They gave us the funds to hire Reba, which really started getting us going in the right direction. And we partnered with Northwest Regional Planning Commission. They've been fantastic. Greta, I don't know if anybody here knows Greta, but poor Greta. We've put a lot of stress on her. Fortunately, we've been able to ease that a little bit because she's been fantastic, has gone above and beyond for us. And the Elberg Select Board holds a community block grant for us. So they're involved also. The school, at the beginning, we were going to build on school property. That got complicated really quickly legally because they would have to own the building, we'd have to lease the building, and then the Board of Education came in and the supervisory union, and it got sticky real quick, even though that would be ideal, I think. But we had a community member step forward and donate us a piece of property, which is very helpful. So we've had so many partnerships and pieces and, you know, grants from all these nonprofits, and it's been amazing. And so that's the backstory.
So there is a, we did bring 2 other pieces of paper that you can also forward to your group. One is just a short history, because when I start talking about the project, it's 6 years of these people doing this work. And I think that's, what people don't understand is that's what it takes, because they've had to navigate financing, and that got very tricky with the school in terms of what grants and funds they could accept that we needed to actually do the building, because even though the school might own the building, they had to do all the fundraising. So that got very sticky. Not in a way that the school is still considered a partner. When the center is built, we'll be partnering with them on pre-K, we'll be partnering with them on after school. So it isn't, it was just that we couldn't keep going at the rate we wanted to go. The thing the story I want to tell that I think is very cool is when I first came in, the first question that they had for me was, the first question I had for them is, what's your business structure? And they were like, well, we haven't decided that yet. And so I did some research on potential management structures. You can go find a vendor and have the vendor, you know, work with you to do this, so like, how do you want to do this? And this group of people said, we want the community to own this, and we are willing to stay here as volunteers and fundraise and do this thing. And so I am extremely impressed and have been really grateful to work with this group this is a community-driven project. It's all Auburn. So that has been really cool. And after we worked with the school for a while, really trying to make it work. It was right in the middle of COVID. We were actually just about to open an after-school program in the school. We were licensed for it. And then the COVID restrictions in the school made it financially infeasible for us to do that. We would have lost money instead of gained money. So that's when we really had to pivot and say, and the town had just approved building on school land, so there was all this community support, and then they had to pivot. And then luckily, this donor, this benefactor, who's been very good to the project, said, well, I've got some land, you guys can have this. That is not as easy as it sounds. We've had to go through Act 250. We've had to, we've done all of that stuff. But after looking both at that spot and any other opportunities in town, we picked the new site and we started moving forward. And so right now, we're in a really good place. They had to alter, we have an architect, DWA, who had a plan for the school property, quickly refigured the plan, added pieces we needed for the new property. So we've got a business, we've got a design, we've got a business plan, that's my responsibility. We've got, these guys just assembled a great team to put this together, and we are hoping to break ground this fall. So it's very exciting. And when I do this, right? See if I do this right. Well, that's something.
Do you have town water and town sewer?
I just messed it all up.
We have, yeah, because that's been a huge issue in Elberg right now. We have water. We've got the approval for water hookup because there's a water line going through there. Water's not the issue, it's the wastewater.
Yeah.
We are building our own sewer, which there goes the price again.
Yeah. So you gotta do your own septic.
It's gonna be a huge mound system, yeah.
And it's such a great question, John, because in childcare, that's everything. And a lot of people wait till the end to think about, they choose a site or they choose a building that used to be a restaurant and they say, this is gonna be okay because it used to be a restaurant. The water and wastewater needed for childcare is way more than restaurant, believe it or not, no matter how many people you feed. So that was a big thing. We had to get enough water from the town, which they have been great about, and we have our
Plenty
permit.
of water.
And we had to design, we actually had to ask for a little bit more property to design the wastewater system that was big enough for the number of kids we're gonna serve. But yeah, all that's done, which is really exciting. So Gina's gonna talk a little bit about, and I have no idea what button to push, but I do this next, I'm so
Oh,
afraid.
the little arrow on your right-hand side.
Okay, got it. Let's push it.
Okay. Well. I don't know what you really
So-
want me to say about
well,
that. What our vision is we need childcare desperately. We're hoping, being in the library, there's a lot of families that come in that are struggling. At story time, I know some families that the school has a pre-K, but it's only half days or 2 days a week. And there's people that their children can't start preschool because the parents are working out of town and they can't get back and forth. And that was also one of the big factors. So we'll be able to offer full-time preschool and childcare so parents can go. But I know there's a family I just talked to the other day. She's signing her daughter up for Tuesdays because she's home from work that day. So because she wants her to meet some friends in the community. But the rest of the week, she's going to preschool in Swanton at a different childcare because she has no options. So, and there's a lot of families that don't, working families that don't even bother putting their child in the preschool program in Elbert because they just can't access their kids. You know, they can't be there to pick them up. And
A lot of the motivation in the Allberg group was really around that education, the understanding that, I'm trying to remember the statistic, but you know, an enormous amount of their kids were coming into the public preschool at the school on IEPs because they had no previous developmental education, no previous work, and that's why the school was involved. And I think the board too was really concerned about improving educational outcomes, improving economic security for families so that they could have jobs as well as take care of their kids. So they really saw this as something that's going to make a big difference in their community, and that was a lot of their motivation. The other piece of paper that's over there is just our one-page business model. So it talks about that's the value proposition. Hopefully special ed spending goes down, kids' school success goes up, parents are able to work. So a lot of things in the community would be impacted by this. In order to do that, it needs to be a high-quality program, and so that's something we're focused on. Which means that, you know, we have to go through childcare licensing, but we'll also participate in the quality measurements of STARS. We're going to participate in universal pre-K. That was also something that smoothed out a little. When we were working with the school, they kind of wanted to still offer the pre-K, so we wouldn't have been able to be a paid pre-K partner. This is much cleaner. And any kid could come to our program from any of the surrounding towns, and we could partner for pre-K. So that is actually good, but it means we'll need a certified teacher. We are assuming that most of our kids will be on child care assistance, and I don't know what you guys know about the Act 76, which was the child care bill that was passed in this year's legislature, but I gotta tell you, I did a business plan before the bill passed, and I just revised it, given the changes, and it's a game changer. It makes a huge difference for us because we think about 80 to 90% of our kids will be subsidized. And in the new expanded plan, it's probably going to be pretty close to 100. But, and so that's made a huge difference to us. So because it's expensive, in our business plan, we estimate that it'll cost $25,000 a year for infants and toddlers. That's more than most people can afford. But the subsidy, in our first business plan, we were going to fundraise, we were going to go to employers and ask them to help their people pay for it. We don't have to do that with the new subsidy rules. So that was very exciting for us. I think these guys will fundraise forever because they're really good at it. And they'll want to do special projects. But at the same time, in terms of our basic operation, we were able to change our business plan and not rely on fundraising and soliciting employers. So that was that's sort of our vision, what we're there for, and let's talk a little bit about what the program will offer. Do you want to start that, or want me to just run through it?
Just run through.
Okay.
She's got all this just down.
So the program's going to be open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 6. We'll have a capacity of 62 children. And that's mostly because, you know, it's conservative. We could probably have a bigger one if we were pulling people in from other places. But these guys are really focused on Alburgh, and we thought that was reasonable. So there'll be 16 infants, 10 toddlers, 18 preschoolers, and 18 school age. And so that's sort of a cohort of somewhere between, you know, 8 to 18 kids who hopefully will move through the program together. Some of the board members already talked about expansion. Most of them shut that down right away.
Your land spot is big enough that you could make the building bigger than what you've got designed now?
No, we'd have to get, and the septic system would have
And
to
the
get
septic
bigger,
system, yeah,
right? Like
start
the
getting more
minute you
people.
add a kid, like one of our engineers, on our business plan, it lists all the direct service staff we need, and then there's 3 administrative staff, and he forgot to put the administrative staff, and we literally had to change our application because 3 more people were going to be in the building anyway. So like that's tricky about the expansion, but who knows? I mean, I think one of the things that all these guys have learned is probably a story for any town that's interested in having something that is, you know, very connected to their own community. Like the little girl who came into the library who can go to Swan, has found childcare in Swan, but really would love to be in Alburgh so that they know Alburgh kids and go up to the community center with them. I talked about subsidy. We're going to talk about staffing in just a minute. The building is lovely. That's a rendering from our architect. And then I'm going to let Gina talk a little bit about one of the original dreams in Promise Communities was that this would be a community resource. And when we were partnering with the school, which is already a community resource, the building was a little bit smaller. We had cut out some things, like we didn't have an after-school room. We were doing after-school in the school building. We didn't have a kitchen because we were using the school kitchen. But when we decided to move out on our own, we went back to the original vision. And so the school-age room, it could now also double as a community room when the school-age kids aren't there. And the kitchen's there for cooking. So,
and we have some offices which would provide private meeting areas for parents. And I mean, everybody comes to the library now. We're grateful to have them. It's wonderful, but there's no privacy. And I can't offer you any privacy. There's no private meeting rooms. So I'm really excited about that. And
Yes.
maybe getting, you know, some other organizations in there, you know, WIC, I think they're coming back now, but, you know, being able to have a WIC program or, and parent classes, parenting classes.
or CIS
evening,
could
or-
come and do services with kids in that office that we've set aside for services. So it actually, the pivot, as much as it was a little bit stressful, I think that was a year ago, December,
Yep.
a little bit stressful when it first happened, has really created more of the original vision than we would have had with the school, because we were sort of in the shadow of the school.
I mean,
Now
I
it's
was a
really what they
huge- I was a
imagined.
huge fan of the Parent-Child Center in Elbert when I had young children, and I miss it, and I loved everything about it. I utilized all the programs. It made me definitely a better parent, and so I'm really passionate about getting all those services and having a place for those services.
Yeah, so we're really excited that it will become, as well as a early care and education center, a community hub for families. That's one of the things the board dreamed about, that we were able to do in the new site. The operation is going to be about, our annual budget is just over $1 million. So your childcare is expensive. That's why it tends to be a problem. But 77.5% of that is all personnel, right? So that's the problem in childcare. It's why people don't make much money, because that's where all the money goes. We have right now about 10.5% of our expenses are around occupancy, because we will be taking, some of our funding is a loan, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but, and so paying back the loan, if we didn't have the loan, our occupancy costs would be negligible almost. But, so most of it does go into staffing, because that's really critical, and that's one of the things we wanted to talk a little bit about today. So let me see if I can do this properly. arrow to the right.
To the right, yep. And point towards the, maybe it's not reading.
Towards the computer.
Alan.
There we go, there you go, thank you.
I'll do it from now on.
Oh, can you go on? This is what I just said, which clearly I didn't do that first, but,
This one?
that's good, that's perfect, that's where you're now. So, the project is about $3.1 million to build the building and get started. Over $1 million of that has been secured, like it is in our hands or it's been awarded. We have about 1.75 million in pending applications. One of those is $1 million loan with the USDA Rural Development Service, which is a primary funder of childcare in rural areas. They have been fantastic to work with. Our application is finished, and we are hoping to close on that loan in September. And as soon as that happens, that means we can actually get going on construction. So we have a gap right now of about $350,000 of the $3.1 million, and so we are going to launch a capital campaign looking for large donors to help us as quickly as possible close that gap, because once that's closed, all the other funding clicks in. We also have I think it's $600,000 application in with a program that Commerce is funding. It's called CRRP, Community Revitalization, I don't know what the second R is, program. And that's complete. We're just waiting. I think they're waiting for USDA, like they like to, the feds, you know, everybody likes somebody to come in first. What USDA has done for us, and I work on a number of projects, often USDA likes to be last in. And so they like Commerce to go. Once everybody's in, they go, okay, we'll come in and we'll backfill you. These guys have been fabulous. They love the Allbird project. They think it's great, and they were willing to be first in. And so the other funders will come in as part of the USDA commitment. So they've been great for us. Like I mentioned earlier, the Act 76 stuff changed our business plan dramatically, took the pressure off the board to have to fundraise forever just for operational things. And so we're excited about that. Our design work's done. We have our building team, we call it the building team, is me. I handle sort of the childcare business side. I'll be doing licensing. We actually had a lot of the programming stuff done when we were going to be in the school, but we'll start our licensing process now and be ready for next July, which is our intended opening date, July 24th, as soon as school closes. We're planning to open. And then we also have our architect, who's been great. DWA has been with them since before me.
Yeah.
And Michael Wisniewski has been terrific with the board. And then we also have a construction consultant who manages all the things I don't know anything about. And so, I think the board's been really smart about bringing in the help they need. So with one of the board members, we're the construction team, and we meet every other week talking about what we need to do to get the permits done, to get everything moving. And our hope is, as long as I'm in charge of financing as well, if we close with USDA in September, we should get a shovel in the ground before the cold hits, and that's our goal. So we're really excited about that. But our challenge is, I'm not as daunted by the capital campaign as some. I think that we're going to get that and we're going to be fine. Our big challenge that now the board worries about is staffing. So as you know, I talked with Joe about this in the beginning. You can go on now. Thank you. And this is the last one. From the very beginning, the board was super committed to good jobs. They were like, these have to be good jobs, we want benefits, you have to put all of that in. Hence, when I was building the business plan, that means you have to fundraise because you can't charge people enough to do all of that. What's nice is you actually can now under the new law, and we're ready to take advantage of that. And so these are pretty decent wages. By the second year of operation, we'll actually have achieved the wage scale that was suggested in legislation and some of the studies they've done. So the board was pleased with that. They're urging me to research public schools and see if we can match their salaries. And so I'm still, we'll do another iteration of this probably at the beginning of next year. But even though we're creating good jobs, again, we were ready to open almost a couple of years ago to start the after-school program. We wanted to get an executive director on board who could like sort of take my place and guide in the childcare piece. And we actually did find a remarkable young woman that we were going to hire before everything fell through, but I think she's moved away now. Yeah. So I was hoping she'd just stay. We can hang on to her. In our startup budget, there is money to hire an executive director 4 months out from the project. Again, to take over some of the reins of licensing and really own the program and get to know the board. But all of that said, we need to find the people. And we know that there's a general workforce crisis at this moment, and in early care and education, it is particularly acute. And part of our value proposition is well-qualified staff, right? That's why 78 to 80% of your money goes into the people, because relationships and people are what child care is about. And so we need to find those people in some way. So we're interested, this whole conversation about coming and talking to you about the project was we're curious what's happening in the region around early childhood workforce and how we can support, help, initiate. I sit on the board of Vermont Association for the Education of Young Children, which has a lot of the ECE workforce dollars from the government right now. So there's apprenticeship programs, pre-apprenticeship, and tech centers, things like that. And I'm curious if any of that's happening here, that we could sort of connect with early and start thinking about how are we going to grow a workforce. We will need an executive director. We have an assistant director as well, because the executive director will be running a business as well as everything else. So we have an assistant director to oversee staff, do some of that. And a kitchen manager cook, because we're feeding the kids. And we need 16 direct service staff, 10 full-time and 6 part-time. Now, school-age people will be part-time and then shift to full-time during school time, during, when we go to full-time, which is about 13 weeks of the year. School-age kids tend to need full-time care. So, but 16 people is a lot of people. So we are interested in talking to you guys about what's happening here, about early childhood pipelines, so that we can either help or
help recruit, yeah.
Be part
that
of
was
the
another
whole
one of
idea
the
of
exciting things. There's the whole child care part, I'm really passionate about the families, but opening up jobs and, maybe getting more local people trained up and interested.
I mean, there is a lot of evidence that in rural communities, the best way to get good qualified people is to grow your own. But at the same time, we really, we're curious what other people are experiencing in terms of recruitment and retention. Because that is a concern the board has right now. We know we need the people, or all over the state, there are closed classrooms because they don't have the staff to staff them. And so we don't want to face that. We want this full capacity to be available, and we want to maintain that. So that's one of the things that we wanted to bring to this group, to talk about what's happening and how do we participate.
I feel like one thing I want to jump in for.
Please, anybody who has questions, I didn't say that at the beginning. Any questions you have about what we said, or other questions of things we didn't say?
I feel like in response to the employment piece and the available positions, there's some great partners in Franklin-Grandal County that assist with, they have employment consultants, job placement, and have a pretty wide reach with applicants who might be looking for employment. And that's through the hireability. They're partners with Department of Labor, with, again, NCSS, employment consultants, a huge team. So that's one that maybe after the meeting I can give you Katie Coe's information. She's the business account manager for this area, and she's fantastic. Anybody who knows Katie loves her. A lot of people here know her. So she would be a great connection.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's great. That would be a great connection. Because there are some, I don't know if you guys are doing, you can probably shut this off. I don't know if you guys are doing any specific, Michelle Trey, I'm sure would know, training things on the other side of the state, the Northeast Kingdom, maybe KLS Learning Services developed a great training protocol for childcare folks that different regions have initiated. And I don't know if any of that's happening here, right? That where people are like sort of learning job skills, also learning what they, the childcare training that they need that would get them the qualifications for childcare, and go through a paid internship in current regulated programs. There'll be a bunch of money. Act 76 put out $20 million in what they call readiness grants this summer that is going to go out to currently regulated programs. Unfortunately, since we're not currently regulated, we're not getting any of it. But we're curious if anybody is thinking about using that to do some recruitment retention work in the area that might, you know, that could bring in some of these activities to get more people qualified and interested in early childhood.
From what I know, because right now I haven't heard of anyone looking to do that yet, but that doesn't mean, since it's very new bill, I think it'll be interesting to see going forward. I know Deb Brennan, who's the Northern Lights Resource Advisor for CCB, who's very involved in a project, a similar project in Lamoille County. I know that she was talking to folks about doing something similar down here in Franklin and Grand Isle, so
yeah,
she might be a great contact.
Yeah, I worked with that project with Deb in Lamoille, so that would be a great contact if she thought about bringing it here. I think people right now, Michelle, don't know how these readiness grants are going to be distributed, so they're all just waiting. But it's going to be a tsunami of money. So if people could band together to do some training, say like, hey, let's put the money together and we could do a training program up here and start to get people ready for this work and prepared, it would be great.
No, that would be fantastic, because, you know, I think you all are good thinking ahead about staffing, because from what I know right now, in a conversation this week with the business manager at one of our local child cares, is that the same thing that's happening across the state is happening in Franklin and Grand Isle, where folks are having to close classrooms because they do not have staff. I know one local center who's down 4 teachers right now, so it's a big issue. So the more folks that we can get to be trained would be helpful, working with the local tech centers and actually with the local CCB in their early education program.
Reba and Gina, can I just ask a question? I know Gina, United Way has recently given you a little bit of funding. I know it's a drop in the bucket, but to help with your ED search. Refresh my memory, the Parent Child Care Center network. Will you be a parent-child center? Refresh my memory about that issue.
Parent-child centers in Vermont are legislated bodies, and they're actually set up with catchments, and so I believe you guys probably are.
We're the only
NCSS is the
designated
Parent-Child
agency
Center
that has
for
a
Franklin and
parent-child
Grand Isle.
center.
So, and John, Joe, you could probably speak to this. I mean, their funding is improved, but so we'll be an early care and education center. We will probably partner with the Parent-Child Center on stuff like if they wanted to offer a play group, they could offer a play group in our after-school room when our after-school kids aren't there. Like, we'd love to do partnerships with them, but we won't be a Parent-Child Center, so we won't have access to you know, other than partnering to those resources. Though you guys don't have a child care center either, right?
No.
So you won't be getting readiness money, but the Parent-Child Centers that have centers will get some.
Does this Act 76 have any impact on the child care, child care center?
Humongously. Well, yeah, because most of the Parent-Child Centers, there's 15 across the state. Many of them, I'd say probably 12 out of the 15 have early care and education child care programs as well. So all of this money that has changed our business plans will also change, will also really improve. Right now, childcare in a parent-child center probably drains resources, right? It takes money away. Like some of the money they get to be a parent-child center, they spend on their childcare program, especially if they want to pay good wages. One of the things, I actually am working with a parent-child center on a new site, and the big shift is that now the early childhood program is going to be able to pay into the parent-child center for its administrative support with this new money. So the new money's huge in terms of supporting early care and education in any site, whether it's a parent-child center or anybody else. So it's really impactful.
Okay.
It will impact, I know NCSS also runs the community child care support agencies, which Michelle knows well. And I think there's money, I don't know how much, Michelle. There was some money to expand the grants out to them, because like so many more families are going to be eligible. They will come here to apply and get advice about childcare, and so they were already super underfunded. So hopefully they'll get better funded so that they can help families become eligible. Families that never dreamed of applying for assistance, if they now will navigate the assistance piece, which the community child care support centers help them do, will now get help. And so they won't have to pay so much. A huge piece, a huge change in the child care assistance is now that a copay is considered a family copay. So if you had 2 children in the past, you paid the copay on each child. Now, when your copay is established, if you pay even $200 a week and you have a second child, full boat for one of the kids, and then you pay the same copay for both your kids. That is huge for families. I used to practically cry when I heard people on the radio say, we wanted another child, but we can't have one because we can't afford childcare. That's a game changer, and that's happened. So people just have to, I don't know if parents know this has happened, so I feel like there should be some big campaign to tell parents to get out there and apply. But we're actually developing payment policies that will require families that are potentially eligible, not people who definitely know they make over income, but it's going up to something like 475% of the federal poverty level, which is over $150,000 or $180,000 a year. It's going up there for people who will be eligible. So.
And you're right, Viva, there is money for the child care support agencies across the state. I think it's like $2 million. So we will be able to NCSS hire to be able to support our 1.5 people that do child care financial assistance with the more people that will be eligible. And there is actually a great PowerPoint on the Child Development Division website that breaks down the whole Act 76 law, because there's lots of moving parts in it. So after we take timeline just who's eligible when the tuition money for folks is going up.
Yeah, it's crazy, like the 300% of poverty level that we use at the food shelf for the TFAP is this year, starting 1st of July, like a single person is like 47,000 and a family of 8 it's like 160 grand is the poverty level. So you got a family of 8, you can make $160,000 and still come and get free government food.
And people need it. The cost of living is so high. So it's going on April 1st of 24, it's going up to 400% of the federal poverty level, which is about $99,000 for a family of 3. And that could be 2 parents and 1 kid. It could also be 1 parent and 2 kids, right? And so you could be making almost $100,000 as a single parent with 2 kids, and you would be eligible for assistance. And both of your kids would get assistance for the same copay.
For the one copay.
For the one
That's
copay.
huge. Yeah,
That's huge.
Especially
It's a huge game changer
for a single wage earner family with a couple of kids.
And then in October of 24, now we're opening in July, but in October of 24, it's going up to 575, which is about $142,000 a year for a family of 3.
Have you connected with the Accountable Community for Health, the ACH out of NMC?
No.
they have what they call the Care Circle, and I know for the next couple of months, they're concentrating on efforts to reach, children, youth and children. Actually, their meeting they have a Zoom meeting at 1 o'clock this afternoon. If I get your email, I can email you the Zoom link, because it's an open
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
And I think our email's
They
on
would,
the list.
they would certainly be very interested in what you're doing and how
Yeah.
NMC and other, how you can partner with other care partners, so. Make sure I
And I
partner
do
with you.
think similar to other of the communities that you serve out of NCSS, Alberg is remote, and I tell people I'm working there, I'm like, well, it's like kind of on the edge of Canada, not on the way anywhere, except really pretty country. And so, one of the things the board really talks about a lot is being a hub that can that can connect families in Alberg to resources that are a little bit further away from them. That was a big goal from the very beginning.
We do have a hand. Jess Graff has her hand up. Jess, if you want to go ahead and unmute.
Thank you, hi.
Hi.
So I have to pop off for prepping for a 10:30 meeting, but I just wanted to say hi to Miss Gina.
Hi, Jess.
Hi. Alberg has a really special place in my heart because I got to work in that community a few times a week for about a decade. And this is something that I've been following in the news, but it's so good to have the presentation about it. And just wanted to say thank you because you're building more than a child care center, you're building a resilient community and building a community, and it's really needed in Alberg. Alberg is a special place that really deserves to have this opportunity. So thank you so much for the work you do. It was nice to see you, Dina. I'm so sorry I didn't get to be there in person.
It's nice to see you too. Thank you, Jess.
I think that's all our time, Jack.
I have to tell you, our community is very excited about this. I was excited when it went to vote because we haven't got a school budget to pass in years,
Yeah,
which
the
I don't
vote was very
understand.
negative.
I don't get any of this, but, when it went to vote for us to be able to build on school property, it was overwhelming. It voted hands down, which I was just so proud of that. Our community has really stepped up. The town select board has allowed us to take the bottles from the transfer station. So we've been doing that for a year and a half now, and we've raised like
This board-
$25,000 in bottle retention.
This board has raised.
That's a lot of, that's a lot of.
We have some good drinkers.
I got a bag in my car, and you gotta take when you go. This board has raised $100,000 in small local donations. And I think that's part of the community support, like
It
they
is.
hold events, like,
We
what was that,
we had a
casino
Calcutta,
night,
we had a Calcutta.
quilt, those things.
We did a letter a couple years ago and got a really good feedback from that,
They do birthday drives for board
birthday
members.
drives for board
But,
members, yeah.
$100,000 is not insignificant in a community of that size to contribute from the community itself.
So the community
I
has
think
been
other
fantastic.
funders have been very impressed by the fact that these guys have just slowly built that. And it's helping us enormously now. That's how we could turn and hire the construction guys, right? We didn't have a grant for that. We've been able to mostly get grants for me, but we didn't have a grant for that, but they could take some money out of the money that they raised, because that's unrestricted.
Well, and a lot of the grants are refundable, like you have to spend the money and so.
That's what we're
So
dealing
in
with now.
between,
The 1.7 million is more than that. Some of the secured money is what they call reimbursement federal grants, which means you have to pay the money,
Then
get
you
your
get-
invoices,
then you
then
get-
you send it to them, and 30 days later you
Yeah.
get it. So we're getting a line of credit, and these guys just continue to do this as volunteers. And every time I go like, oh, we're gonna have to do this now, they go, okay, or I say, Gina, we need an
Well, I
accountant.
kind
And
of roll my eyes.
Gina puts something out on Facebook for him, and we get a pro bono accountant, pro bono accountant, pro bono lawyer. It's really
So I love
amazing.
that it's community driven, that's my big, and I also, kudos for, Let's Grow Kids and United Way, and so many partners have stepped up. Because I had this little feel sorry for me when the Parent Child Center did leave, and NCSS has been, has been big help too. I felt like we were all alone out there. It's like nobody wanted to come out and do anything anymore. And I felt like we lost a lot of resources when the Parent-Child Center left. And so when this started, so here, you know, I was kind of bitter, but this started and all these people have come in and they've reached out to us and they've supported us, and that just blows my mind. That's been great. That just feels really good to know that we're not forgotten about out there. Yeah, that's meant a lot to me.
Michelle, do you have the invite to the CARES Circle this afternoon? Michelle Trejo?
I do not.
You don't? Oh, okay. I'm just getting concerned because it may be 1 o'clock before I get back to my house, and I don't have it on my cell phone. It's on my other email account.
I gotcha.
I can.
I got it, I'm pulling it up right now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we'll reach
I
out to
do,
them.
and I'll
Thanks,
forward
Jen. That's
it.
a great lead.
What's the best email for you, Rita?
Heart of a Child, all one word, .et@gmail.
Perfect, so I'm gonna hit send now and you'll get the invite for the afternoon meeting with the link in it.
I mean, just barely be home.
And you also
That
have
was
Katie.
way
It's still a Teams meeting, right? The bad news is it's a team, it's not a Zoom, it's a Teams meeting, and there's no team in.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about nobody liking a platform. Oh my gosh. Michelle, just so you
When
know,
you're
that
used to doing
meeting's
a
from
Zoom
1
meeting,
to
we used to
3.
do a Zoom meeting, they have a team meeting, and
I'm
okay,
with
you
you,
see
John.
6 people sitting there
I'm
looking
with
like
you.
you're, it's like, okay. But you can still at least talk to everybody.
Yeah. Well, and that's a great lead.
Yeah.
Michelle, I just want to make you aware, that meeting's from 1 to 3.
Yeah.
And you will get the invite.
So thanks for having us. Any questions you guys have?
That was an order to Melinda.
That was,
You will get the invite.
Stop voluntold. It'll be coming in a second, Michelle. And then Reba will also get Katie Coe's email address, her newsletter
Oh,
release
that's
this morning,
terrific. I'll
and then
reach
the
out
email
to
for the
Katie.
CARES.
Yeah, if I don't get home in time.
Any other questions or?
Yeah, does anyone else have questions? Okay.
Just want to see if there's something in chat.
Okay, well, Riva and Gina, thank you very
Thanks
much.
for
This is
having
an
us.
incredible
Thanks for
undertaking.
Such a nice group to have.
And
And Michelle, I guess I'd talk to you and Deb about workforce stuff.
Yeah, that'd be fabulous.
Yeah, great. I'll reach out.
yeah, and some of the other contacts as well that we'll make sure that you get. I know that Melinda mentioned hireability earlier, which is Katie Coe,
Yeah.
but, you know.
Yeah, already sent it.
Those, so you did already,
Yeah.
okay. So-
Yeah, and we were working with them in Loyal County, and they were super supportive.
Well connected to,
Yeah.
well connected to people.
I think it's a great, I've seen the training program, I think it's a great one, and they just had trouble recruiting enough people to make, I mean, they had the money to do it, but they couldn't recruit enough people to make it really work, so. But hopefully, we could do a better job. I'll get the board on it.
Yeah. Now,
They can do anything.
does anybody have any initiatives or announcements that they'd like to mention at this point?
Yeah.
Melinda?
Sure. So I'm gonna pull up on the deck here since we're coming to the end and we're almost to the summit. So a friendly reminder, Friday, August 11th at the Champlain Valley Expo is the second annual Substance Use Addiction Summit. I've pulled on the screen the schedule, which we haven't even fully released yet. It'll be coming out any day now, so you get VIP treatment getting to see it first. And just kind of a breakdown, from 10 to 11:30 a.m. is the summit presentation itself. Our speakers are listed below. We've got Charlie Papillo again, who's our MC and phenomenal personality, and he'll be helping to call up our speakers. We've got Monica Hutt is going to be opening us up this year, and then Dr. Mark Levine and Jeffrey Trice from the Health Department will share the data, which essentially reminds us why we're even going to be there and doing this work. Some of it is grim to see the numbers have been continuing to skyrocket with overdoses with fentanyl and xylazine, and as people may know, there's no reversal for xylazine. It's not meant for humans to take in the first place, so there's no treatment for it right now, and that is, we're losing a lot of Vermonters' lives over substance use. Commander Prouty is going to be coming from Rutland to share about Project Vision. I know there's some people on this call, I'm sure Crystal and if Mary Pickner were here, but Project Vision did some presentations in Swanton years ago. I had them come do some in St. Albans. They've got some fantastic partnerships with their not only treatment and recovery organizations, but healthcare, housing partners, food insecurity partners. So they have great partnerships similar to what we do here. And they're going to share about those partnerships, followed by Tracy Hawk, who's the center director for the Rutland Turning Point. She'll be sharing about embedded positions, recovery coaches embedded with law enforcement, Department of Corrections, Emergency Department, and they also have a pretty robust family support program. So after Tracy, we're going to have our keynote speaker, Maureen Kavanaugh, the author of the book, If You Love Me. It's a mother's journey through her daughter's opioid addiction, and it's a memoir on Maureen's life. Full disclosure, I have a number of Vermonters that reach out for support on how to get through their loved one's addiction, how to respond, how to not enable, how to love. And I refer them to Maureen. She is my go-to when it comes to families that are really struggling. She's an amazing human. I can't wait to meet her in person after working with her for over 3.5 years. She's been on my TV show, Recovery Rockstar, so if anybody pulls that up, you'll be able to hear a little bit more about her. And then we're going to have Peter Mallory. He is on the board of directors for Vermont Alliance for Recovery Residences, which I also am on that board with him, so we get to be on the board together. He is going to be sharing about VTAR, which is the organization that certifies recovery residences in the state of Vermont, and then Jeff Moreau is our executive director, so he is going to be sharing. And then we're going to have, of course, Janice Promise, who is a certified recovery resident, so they'll be sharing about their program. After Janice Promise, we'll have Granite Recovery, who is actually from New Hampshire. They have programs in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, multiple states, and they've got beautiful programs that are progress-based for the patients and clients that they serve, so they'll be sharing about their programs. And then we'll be wrapping it up, and there will be in the afternoon, the booth room will open. We've got, we're pushing towards 90 booths now of various organizations that'll be sharing information about what they do. There's going to be arts, there's going to be handworks from Recovery Vermont, there's going to be private rooms available for consultation, people struggling with substance use. Somebody could literally come in broken with substance use issues and leave in a van and go straight to a residential treatment program. So there's going to be access to immediate on-the-spot treatment and consultation. And we're also going to have breakout rooms. There's 3 different rooms. One is Dr. White, who is going to be doing healing at the intersection of trauma and addiction. And then Maureen is going to hold one of her support groups, Tough Love versus Holding Space. And then the Project Vision team with Commander Prouty, Tracy Hawk, and potentially a treatment team that does drug treatment court will be in the 3rd breakout room. So it's going to be an amazing day. We're super excited, and it is a grassroots event. So this is not one specific organization running this, which is why I'm so passionate about it, and I think Brad is, because it's really a we kind of an event. So please invite everybody you know. You're going to start seeing advertisements on WCAX in the near future. Could be starting, I think, as early as tomorrow. And any organizations that haven't signed up yet that want to, just touch base with me or register. There's links in all the different literature that we've been sending out. And it's no charge for your booth. It comes with 1 table, 2 chairs, 1 tablecloth, access to electricity if you need it. And I think I'm going to stop there because that was information overload. Hey. Are there any questions on the summit? Okay.
That is a well thought out day. That'll be an amazing day for everybody who's there. Sure. Any other announcements or yes, Megan?
Can I just share, that sounds very deep and very heavy, and so if someone needs to lighten up the following day, we will be having Corn Fest in Swanton at the Swanton Rec. They're going to have games and activities for the kids, and our office is going to be having a corn husk doll making demonstration. It's actually a class. People will make their own to take away. We're going to have some heritage cornbread kits to give away, and I think it's going to be a good time. I'm not sure the exact hours, but if you need any information for it, register for the class or information about the day, it's on the Swanton Recreation's website.
Sounds great. Anyone else?
If anybody wants to wander to the hinterlands of Sheldon, Saturday evening, we have a chicken barbecue fundraiser, $7.50 for adults and $5 for children, I think it's under 12. And it's a really good meal for a pretty cheap price. Right at the food shelf building there in Sheldon Creek, right above the historical museum.
Sounds yummy. Can I get in as a 12-year-old?
And I think I see Crystal raising your hand.
Yeah, I'm gonna put in our monthly plug. We are always on the look for mentors for our Watershed Mentors program. We do have a community-based mentoring program, so if you have 2 hours a week to give to a young person, promise in our community would be very welcomed. And then also we are on the search for board members for Franklin County Caring Communities. So if anyone is interested in giving back, we would happily take some more board members.
Thanks, Crystal.
Any other announcements or initiatives or? Okay. Well, with all of that, we can adjourn a little earlier than normal, give everybody about 10 minutes of free time that you didn't anticipate. So once again, we want to thank everybody for being here today. Riva and Gina for a very, very riveting presentation. Which is very exciting. And we will reconvene on September the 6th, same time, same concept, in person or via Zoom. And have a great August and a good Labor Day holiday. And we'll see you on September 6th. And again, thanks everybody for your time. Have a great month. And Eric, we see you're back in your office.
Said John can have his coffee.
Yeah.
When you can finish that coffee, it's probably cold now.